Chinese-style distillation sneaking a fishing rod into America's pond. This is Jersey's news commentary channel. A recent in-depth report by Bloomberg has, for the first time, revealed an extraordinary shift in the global AI industry. The three fiercest U.S. AI giants OpenAI, Anthropic, and Google have actually set aside their rivalry and begun joining forces to contain what they describe as distillation-based capability extraction by Chinese companies. Through the Frontier Model Forum, they are now sharing threat intelligence specifically to identify what is called adversarial distillation. The single most important line in Bloomberg's report is this: Chinese competitors are continuously extracting results from America's frontier models. Why is this so serious that it has pushed three longtime rivals into an alliance? Because the issue is no longer ordinary technical optimization. It is that others spend enormous sums to build a fish pond, digging it, purifying the water, stocking the fry, absorbing trial and error costs, and only after the pond is full of fish do Chinese companies casually set up a fishing rod and start catching them. Let's first make the technology clear. Knowledge distillation is, in itself, a completely normal and widely accepted AI technique. Simply put, the large model is the teacher, and the small model is the student. The student learns the teacher's output patterns, replicating probability distributions, reasoning paths, coding habits, tool calling methods, stylistic preferences. This allows developers to produce smaller, lighter, and faster models at much lower cost. So distillation itself is not the original sin. American companies use it every day. For example, moving from a flagship model to a mini version or a mobile version is, in essence, distillation. But the crucial difference is this: when U.S. companies use distillation, they are using their own large models to distill their own smaller models. What is being accused in this case as Chinese-style distillation is very different. It involves massive API calls, continuously feeding prompts into someone else's frontier model, collecting the outputs, and then retraining one's own model on that harvested behavior. This is no longer ordinary distillation. This is capability extraction. In plain language, stealing the master's craft. What America's three major AI companies have been doing over the past several years can be compared to three steps. Step 1. Digging the pond. They invested hundreds of billions of dollars building GPU clusters, constructing data centers, deploying networks, assembling elite talent, absorbing huge trial and error costs, paying massive electricity bills. Step 2. Purifying the water. This means data cleaning, post-training, alignment, safety boundaries, tool integration, reasoning tuning. Step 3. Raising big fish. This is where the truly valuable fish are: long-chain reasoning, coding, multi-agent systems, tool use, multimodal capability. These are the fish that are actually worth money. The Chinese-style method is different. No digging ponds, no purifying water, no raising fish, no bearing the early-stage risk of failure. Just one thing: sneaking over at night and repeatedly fishing in secret. Then the fish they catch are put into their own small basin, reproduced, retrained, open-sourced, cost-reduced, and then marketed to the world as far ahead and leading the race. If this is not theft, what is? This is even more sophisticated than stealing source code. What is being taken is not code itself, but AI capabilities forged through hundreds of billions of dollars in American investment. Why did America's three AI giants only now realize they need to build a dam? In truth, this dam should have been built long ago. Bloomberg's report itself already suggests that U.S. companies previously overestimated the ethical standards of the industry. In the early culture of the American tech world, the default assumptions were APIs are an open ecosystem. Developers are partners. Model capabilities can be licensed outward. What they underestimated was one reality: some companies are not here to build the ecosystem, they are here to drain it. By the time the seriousness became clear, the capability gap had already been rapidly compressed. A 12-month lead can shrink to 3 months. Then even further. Perhaps to just a month. So this alliance of three old rivals is, in essence, building a dam to stop the entire pond from being drained and every fish from being stolen. Are Chinese companies really stealing? At this point, U.S. firms have already provided what they call evidence of theft. The strongest evidence comes from Anthropic. According to a Reuters report from February 2026, Anthropic accused Chinese AI firms DeepSeek, Moonshot AI, and Minimax of using approximately 24,000 fraudulent accounts to conduct more than 16 million Claude interactions, allegedly for training their own models. Several key points in this evidence deserve special emphasis. First, the fraudulent account pool. These were not ordinary user calls, but a large-scale account farm. Second, regional restriction evasion. They allegedly bypassed geographic access restrictions and terms of service. Third, specialized capability extraction. The focus was not ordinary chatting, but reasoning, coding, agent tool use, censorship-safe rewrites. This makes the objective unmistakably clear. This was not ordinary usage, but reverse learning stealing expertise. I want to especially point out that the most common gangster-style defense currently circulating in the Chinese internet sphere is American companies also use distillation, so China's use of distillation is perfectly normal. This is a complete switching of concepts. It deliberately confuses internally authorized distillation with externally unauthorized extraction. The difference between the two is like this: one is normal learning, I attend an open university lecture to gain knowledge. The other is unauthorized extraction, I sneak into someone else's laboratory, copy all of the experimental results, and then present them as my own original invention. So the real boundary is not whether distillation is allowed, but whether you have the right to distill. Terms of service, account authenticity, access region, scale of output harvesting, and whether it is used for competitive purposes. All of these form clear legal boundaries. This is exactly why I particularly despise this gangster mentality. Because countless Chinese industries have already been hollowed out by plagiarism, copying, and imitation. As a result, original innovation across China has become extremely thin. The few genuine innovators who toil in hardship often end up with nothing. Their patents disappear, leaving behind only pain, bitterness, and outrage. Thus, bad money drives out good money, and this has become a permanent norm in China. China does have patent law, but it lacks strict enforcement. The law often remains only on paper. Real-world protection is extraordinarily difficult and expensive. Worse still, the broader social psychology often still accepts the old Lu Sun-style logic: stealing books is not really stealing. In an industrial environment that rewards fast copying, fast fundraising, fast commercialization, the original creator bears the highest costs, while imitators and plagiarists enjoy the fastest returns. And public opinion often treats this not as shameful, but as something admirable. Winner takes all. Utilitarian opportunism remains the deepest layer of social thinking. Over time, companies naturally become more inclined toward 嘴与地 arbitrage, high-salary talent poaching, output extraction, roundabout copying, strategic plagiarism. In short, they seek every possible way to avoid the most expensive phase of original innovation. This creates a vicious ecosystem: whoever innovates loses, whoever imitates leads. This deeply rooted low-quality cultural instinct is what deserves the greatest vigilance. Therefore, the real problem with so-called Chinese-style distillation is not the technology itself. The problem is that it bypasses the most expensive trial-and-error phase of original innovation, massive compute investment, long-term safety tuning, and instead uses extremely low cost to extract the most mature capability. This is not normal learning. It is not transparent technological borrowing. It is certainly not mutual development. It is taking the fish from someone else's pond, placing them into one's own small basin, and then turning around to tell the world that one's own fish farming method is superior. So this alliance of America's 3 AI giants is not merely about business competition. It is about defending the most basic principle of innovation: original creators cannot be forced to subsidize copycats forever. That is the true essence of this distillation war.